Good evening, everyone. Mazi speaking to us. How are we doing? How are we doing today? I hope everyone is doing all right. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things, people. But before we do, it will be a privilege to know where you are watching me from. As usual, I want you to tell me where you're watching me from. I will be having this discussion today. I will be discussing about the rough fight between the aeroplane driving attorney general and Kelechi Madu, who is the also attorney general of Abati. Was what's the real name? Alberta province in Canada, whom have made comments regarding the arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the Attorney General of the Federation replied him. You can see, we're going to discuss that and analyze it. At the same time, I would analyze the UK, the debate where, in the House of Lords in the United Kingdom yesterday, that debate of the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu, the legal context of it, as was debated in the British Parliament, House of Lords yesterday. And I will close by our usual North and South divide. The Northern Elders Forum coming out to say they reject the move by the Southern governors to demand that presidency should return in the South in 2023. Now, beyond that, remember there is this ongoing fight already, which is, where they say we cannot implement open grazing. Then I say, bring it on, the fight on. I am joining this party because this party that we are enjoying now, or rather this the party that we are about to see, I am enjoying it.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah. Okay, I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
Tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we'll happiness more.
Inshallah, at the end of this broadcast, you will be happiness more. Inshallah, at the end of this broadcast, you will be happiness more. Myself too, I will be happiness more. So let's get it cracking. Now, let me first of all say hello to the family, because this is a family. This isn't just a broadcast. This is a family. Let me say hello to the family. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. So, some of you, ESS will need to visit you. It says Southern Nigeria versus UAR. United African Republic. South Africa, you're watching from South Africa, and that's it. That's Emma for Jesus. Emezue from South Africa. Avino from the United Kingdom. Tell me, I think you guys from the United Kingdom, you protested today, is it? So SAG from the United Kingdom as well. Kelechi, no, Kosachi from Germany. Wanko from Aba. The great Enyimba city. When the olden days, not all these young people now, all of you watching Manchester versus, what do you call them? Manchester versus Chelsea. You say you kill yourself, blue for life, white, or whatever you call yourself, Arsenal. Ours is Enyimba City. The great Enyimba City. That's what we watched. And it was excellent. Enyimba City. Enyimba City. Enyimba City. Enyimba City. I like, they have the Rangers International. Anyway, that's by the way. So I have Keep it coming. I have many of you watching. Some from the United Arab Emirates, UAE. So, good evening. Now, let's quickly start. If you are joining me once more, my name is Mazi, okay? Well, we have less people watching on YouTube today. What's happening? So, do me a favor by just clicking the like button. Share this stream from every other, with every other person. That will be much appreciated. Chukwemeka is watching from Belgium. Belgium. Yeah, Belgium is a very small but a very, very organized and tidy and small and neat city. I like Belgium. I like Denmark. Very small. Very small. Oh, eBay is watching from Libya. I hope you're safe in Libya. This one, I hear you people sell one another. I hope, you people are safe. Watching from India. Wow. You see, that's the reason why I'm telling you to tell me where you're watching from. Because it gladdens the heart to know that at least anywhere I land today, I will know that I have people there. So if I exactly Mazi Chukwemeka Ezeji say share and like it, like the stream. Only 22 people liking it, and we are close to 200 across the two platforms. We're just basically starting. I know we will get to 1,000, 2,000 or whatever, but like the stream. Like it. Rose Charles, thank you very much. Michael Prince watching from Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine, Kiev. I hope you're in Kiev. Watching from Cape Town, South Africa. Oh, I like Cape Town as well. Joburg as well. I love your program. Thank you. That's glad to know. Watching from the United States of America. And now, I think this is for my people in the United States. Someone said to me that they like watching my program when they do night shift. I say, so Nami will keep you busy and you're working, making money. Afterwards, Mazi will go and recharge MTN. It is time you start, if Mazi is making your day while you work and make your money. So after the end of the month, I'm not like a pastor. I don't need 10%. 5% will, even 2% will do, because I know when that money is converted, those big money you people get in America. So if you want to support Mazi's ministry, don't give me 10%, please. 10% is too much, because that's what the pastors take. And just 1%, one will make, will do wonders. Okay, people. Many of you, before I start, do you guys know Imo State, there was this commotion this evening at the Imo State House of Assembly. Gunshot fired at the Imo State House of Assembly. That is unbelievable. That was unbelievable. So, Benjamin, are you saying you are watching from Spain or from Spain? You're writing Spain, S-P-I-N. Should be Spain, okay? Spain means to turn around. That's what you've written. So if you're watching from Spain, then I will take it that you're spinning around, is it? But I think I understand what you mean, though. Okay? So you are watching from Spain. Now, and again, on the other hand, the IPOP family, I think many of you might have watched the video. The IPOP family is demonstrating as we go. I was trying to see if I can get one of our own that was there to see if we can get a live feed. I'm still trying. So if I'm able to get a live feed, hold on. So we can ask them from there what is happening. Just give me uno. I think it's the Italians. They say uno momento. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to find out if the person at the protest ground in Canada is able to join us briefly. Again, but if you're watching me, perchance, you're in Canada and you set your phone that whenever I come online, it comes. If you're watching me now and you are in Canada, you are in this protest. If you're watching me and you want to show us what is happening, apart from the one we reported about an hour ago, if you want to show us what is happening, you can. I'm watching from Toronto, Canada. Thank you, my brother. Okay. Okay, thank you. So you're not in the protest. So anyone who is in the protest ground can actually hit me. Then I'll send you a link so we see what you guys are seeing. You see, that's the thing. What we do here, we try as much as possible to do, to be live and up and doing. Kinsley watching from Toronto, Canada. Then, Brighton. Mamma mia. All of you, even South Korea. Freedom Movies. Freedom Voice. Wow. Norway, Oslo, Norway. Ken Modi. Man. Someone is watching from UAR Capito. Some of you are troublemakers, I tell you. But I like it so far. Let's keep it civil. I beg us, okay? So let's keep it lively and entertaining, but civil, please. No rough fight. Even if when you disagree with someone, you can always disagree without insulting. So Pearland, Texas. Wow, Boston. You see, so many Americans here, please. You know what I told you? It appears when you watch me and you're doing your work and your work is, going properly at the end of the month. Now you are not both of us do the work. Oh, I gave you the morale to do the work. So if I'm demanding for 5%, am I wrong in demanding 5%? At least as a compensation for motivating you to do your work. Yeah. If 5% is too much, type no at the chat box. If it's normal, if it's within the appropriate range, because even church they demand 10, but me only 5. Yes or no? Let's see. Let's sample opinion in the comment section. Yes or no? Maybe I'll have so much enemy now that I will say, why at all? Mazi, why would they do anything? Okay. Yes, you see, and what's happening? Yeah, I see. A lot of people are saying no, it's not too much. No. Watching from France. Yeah, I see. So, and for the first time, this is not like National Assembly. Whether you vote now, okay, 1 more, 2 more people. So we say our own votes. This is what we use. We use this to knock on the table and say, and they have it. So therefore, everyone watching from America and you're working, send me your 5%. You jump from 1%. See, that's morale now. Should I go to 10%? Vivian. Vivian, if you want me, I can go to 10%, but so that I don't compete with the church. And before God might get angry with me, I don't want to do that. But quickly, I will want to show us what happened in Imo State. What happened in Imo State? Hold on. Where is it again? What's happening? Okay. Imo State. Now, if you catch me, so 6 people, Imo State. Okay, 3% is okay. Deal. Think Ephraim, 3%. Okay, send us 3%. We will make do with that. That's 3% after tax, so because we are not greedy, we don't want you to be out of pocket. So 3% after your government. So maybe when they pay you your $15,000, just send us 3%. That will be, we are happy with that. Oh, there. Oh, someone is just saying that I shaved my. Yes, I shaved my beard. before they think, no, but it's good to look. Okay, Imo State. So where are you, Imo? Imo. Oh, wow, the kind of, okay, watch this. So people, let me start with this before. Imo State House of Assembly. Now, this is Imo State House of Assembly. What is the story? Okay, so before that, so that many of us who are not aware of what is happening would know, actually. Imo State House of Assembly. Hold on, let me just pull up the story as we published it. Okay. Imo State House of Assembly, they say unknown gunmen invaded Imo State House of Assembly. Now, other headlines says sporadic shooting at Imo State House of Assembly complex. Punch says gunshot as Imo Speaker suspends minority leader and 5 others. Okay, so we go back to Guardian newspaper, Guardians, because this is a breaking news. Guardian says letters on Imo State House of Assembly. Imo State House of Assembly witnessed gunshot, BBC. You know, now let's quickly look at this. So you basically you might have had a drift of what is then happening, because as the report has it, unknown gunmen invade Imo State House of Assembly, attacks Speaker and others. Now, during the shooting, the Speaker was hurriedly bundled out of the premises by the personnel aides. The Imo State House of Assembly descended into chaos on Thursday, that is today, moments ago, about 2 hours ago, after the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Paul Mazi, announced the suspension of 6 members of alleged unparliamentary conduct. Nothing Musanogo here forget. Unparliamentary conduct. It was learned that the Speaker of the Assembly, Paul Mazi, along some members of the House, narrowly escaped being shot by unknown gunmen after. There must be something with Imo State. Suddenly, is on gun, not on gun no men, men non gun. Okay, yes, on men non gun. Is it? Whichever one. On men no gun, on men non gun invaded, and this is what happened. Did you hear? Did you hear that? This is a freaking House of Assembly where you would think there ought to be utmost tranquility, there ought to be utmost peace. But here we have unknown men. What's wrong with you? What time? Unknown gunmen. Okay, yes, unknown gunmen, not ungunmen men, whichever. But this is what happened.
This is gunshot firing everywhere in the State House of Assembly right now over the suspension of 5 honorable members by the Speaker of the House. There are sporadic gunshots right now at the State House of Assembly, and people are scampering for their lives.
With this, you will know. I didn't send myself here. God sent me.
You know who is speaking? The Mr. Parkinson, the comedian turned politician. That's his voice there speaking. You see, when politicians fight, there is this common. It's just like when somebody rigs an election. I'm not saying he rigged an election, but I'm just giving a general example. When somebody rigs an election, goes into the hotel room, writes a result, and when they start fighting themselves, all you will hear, God sent me. You're fighting God. Yati, yati, yada, nada, nonsense. Then I ask myself, so when you people put ink at the back of the head, all these Afro old men putting ink there, taking ink from the back of the head and thumb printing. So that was also God telling you to be doing that. But when commotion and confusion starts, all you hear is God this and God that. But let's just complete that.
And what God has so that is the of your
So I see commotion. They've now gone out.
Colleagues are scampering for their own lives. They have left the complex right now. Sporadic gunshots everywhere. See the House of Assembly full of talks, full of touts. The Imo State House of Assembly, the Night House led by Paul Emeziem.
He has been bundled out by talks.
He has been bundled out by talks.
He arranged for this.
He arranged for this particular sitting, bundled out by talks.
Anyway. David Light says beautiful nonsense. But Laura Quinn says he should swear by Amadioha. So you want them to be sworn in by Amadioha? That might be a tall order. That might be a tall order. So let's get to the meat of the matter, people. That's on the periphery, what's actually happened. So while we are waiting to see if we can get the person in Ottawa, if he's ready to join us, but obviously he's not reading messages because they're protesting. But the good thing, what they've done today is that they've gone to the Kenyan embassy in Ottawa, Canada, to register, basically to demand for Kenya to tell them what happened with, these are the IPOB members. They said they want to know what happened with their leaders, with their leader, and that's why they've gone to Ottawa, Canada. But there is this interesting story that has been developing since 2 days ago. That is the Rofa fight between Kelechi. Again, I believe many of you know who Kelechi is. Kelechi Madu is the Alberta Attorney General. He's from Imo State. The guy who the president a couple of months back wrote, the guy that was on the news, being a first generation immigrant, getting to that level of Attorney General. And this is when many of us talk about how, because again, many of you watching me now from the diaspora, you're not in the diaspora because, yes, it's so, it's not that Americans don't go to Japan or Hong Kong or England or Germany or elsewhere to live. But majority, I'm not saying all of you, majority in the diaspora, in the United Kingdom, in Germany, in anywhere that you're watching me from, majority are there because the home front is not, doesn't offer them the opportunity. Because if opportunities are offered, many who are in diaspora would not be in the diaspora. I mean, it could have been, maybe if you stay back, study, work 1, 2, 3, 4 years, 5, then you plan your way backwards, or rather plan your way back to your country. But that doesn't mean that if people want to stay, that they can't. Of course, that's their right too. But the truth is, many of us in the diaspora are, sorry, before I continue, Antonio Dunze, I've noticed a couple of times, you just come to this stream, all you do is just to hit thumb down. I don't know why you do that on Facebook. Antonio Dunze, if you so much dislike my page or dislike Injanja Media, wouldn't it be better you I wouldn't say disappear. Wouldn't it be better you go off, because if what we do you don't like it, then why do you keep coming back? I don't understand it. You never see me to somebody's page if I don't like what they are doing. So if you're here, stop bringing in bad energy. Now, but let me, without further ado, I would start. Antonio Dunze is on a troll. Oh, I don't know him, but I think I've noticed this is the third time. The moment I see the angry face coming from Facebook, I check. It's him, Antonio Dunze. I don't know why, whoever he is, but he has got me now to the point of mentioning his name. Good for him. So he can now go, and I have cut him some soap. So let him go and now have his bath. So he can look like Mazi. He can look nice, yeah, is it? Okay. So because he's giving this video a thumbs down, now let us, everyone who is a fan, let us shame him by giving it a thumbs up. Let us use a reverse psychology on that one. If he's giving it a thumbs down, we, the fans of this page, we have every right to now say thumbs up and share it. Actually, share it. It's it's not beyond us to do. Okay. So yes, I'm getting that video now from Arise TV. Okay. So I'm getting that video from Arise TV. Bear with me just a moment. Uno momento, as the Italians, I believe, will say, because sometimes my brain is jam-packed that I confuse Italian with Spanish sometimes. Because okay. So here comes the video.
Schedule posted on its website. The date set.
Let me go back.
Let's begin what's trending in the United Kingdom. Following the arrest of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the UK Parliament says it is now set to commence a debate on the repatriation of the separatist leader. In a parliamentary schedule posted on its website, the date set for the debate is Wednesday, July 7th. According to the document, Lord Alton of Liverpool will be raising the issue at the House of Lords and will query the Nigerian government on the separatist leader's transfer to Nigeria. The British government had said that Kanu, who was traveling with a British passport, was not arrested within the United Kingdom's territory as controversy continued to trail the circumstances and where Kanu was repatriated from. In another development, Kelechi Madu, the Minister of Justice and Solicitor General of the Government of Alberta in Canada, has slammed the Nigerian Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, over the rearrest of the IPOB leader. In a post on his LinkedIn page, Kelechi wrote that if reports that Kanu was abducted were true, Malami was not only a disgrace to the rule of law, but was also not worthy to be a public officer, and called on world leaders to apply appropriate sanctions on Nigeria. Well, there are two sides to this story. The Nigerian government will argue that Kanu is a Nigerian, and we as a sovereign state have the right to treat their citizen in the manner which they deem fit. But you know that Kanu is also a British citizen, and so that's why the UK Parliament has set this date of Wednesday the 7th to find out what really went wrong there.
Well, the UK Parliament also weighs in when it's not dealing with British citizens. Right. You'll recall the debate about NSAS. That had nothing to do with British nationality. That was just to do with the rule of law and what they found to be egregious that was happening in Nigeria. And closer to home, I'm remembering my dad today, John Major, who was a prime minister at the time, not just a regular minister, argued passionately in Parliament about June 12th, and we all know how that ended. Today marks the 23rd year of his passing, so we know that made no difference. Amen. Thank you, darling. It made not a blind bit of difference, quite frankly, because a sovereign nation will do what it chooses. All other nations can do is advocate and, try and convince. Look at what's happening in England. I've been following the case of Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe.
So thank you, everyone. If you're watching, if you're just joining us now, I'm still Mazi, okay? And this is this evening stream. So we are getting close to 900. Please share this video that we will get at least up to 2,000 this evening, okay? Because it's a very important discussion that we're going to have, so that we're going to start making sense of most of the senselessness, happening. That's why we do this analysis. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying with me. Just don't forget to like and share this stream. And if you can also use the super chat. Thank you.
A British Iranian lady who went on holiday with her daughter to Iran and was jailed in Iran. And her husband has been protesting. Boris Johnson weighed in as foreign minister. He weighed in as prime minister. She still is there languishing in jail. She has served her whole term. Then they now added a few extra years just to torment her. And there's absolutely nothing the British government can do. This is the sad reality of it. You are really at the mercy of your sovereign state, where you happen to be once you're detained and what have you. And now to Madu, who is the Chief Justice Minister, I believe, in Alberta,
yes,
Canada, speaking so passionately, lambasting our Attorney General, Malami. I guess he's coming from the point of rule of law, like I said, the procedure. Like I said in the interview that we had with Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, that process that they described, which is yet to be proved, but what they have described is unknown to Kenyan law. That process that they described of him being arrested and beaten and what have you, Kenyan law is actually quite strict. They have extradition treaties that even claim that if an offense is political in character, the fugitive should not be surrendered. Yes. So how did this happen? We don't know. I guess the investigation will be made. But I want to remind Mr. Madu that even in Canada, we all perceive Canada to be the home of the nicest people ever. They're so laid back. Their president, their current prime minister, his dad, Pierre Trudeau, when he was prime minister of Canada, he took the gloves off on the Quebec Liberation Front. He instituted War Measures Acts in peacetime. There were mass arrests. There was suspension of rights, including habeas corpus, because that group turned itself into a terrorist organization. They were killing, they were kidnapping, and Pierre Trudeau dealt with them with an iron fist. Every country will protect its sovereignty. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. But what we ask in a democracy is that the rule of law is upheld, that the procedures are upheld. This is no longer a banana republic. We're no longer in the military era.
Yeah, the Kenyan government has denied any collaboration with the Nigerian government.
They have to, because it's shocking.
Yeah.
But you see, anyway, you see, one thing that I can tell us free of charge is that this case would eventually enrich the jurisprudence in Africa, because I have never heard normally, if someone is a terrorist and you help arrest a terrorist, you should be like running around with a trophy. Woo! That I have done the impossibility what every other person couldn't do. But isn't it a little bit ironic that rather than jubilate, rather than say we've done it, the nation, according to the conversation between him and his lawyer, Barrister Geoffrey, the nation is denying. Yet the victim is saying this is where my arrest occurred. Let's not get into the other issues surrounding that, but let's stay within these international arguments between the nation called Kenya, and now that even the British House of Lords is now going to be querying how come and what actually happened here. I do not blame. Listen. And I tell my people, anyone in the diaspora, I know some of us made some mistakes. While we studied abroad, we still believed in a tribe that the nation or that the continent will eventually be so good that, we'll come back and we'll settle down and all the rest. When opportunities came are still no friends today. When opportunities came to maybe take another person's or the country of residence passport at that point, said, nah, we don't, we like this. But looking back now, you said, nah, that was silly and stupid. Some you can basically wish the clock could be turned back. Therefore, I'm telling you, this is what I tell anyone close to me. If you find yourself outside the shores of this nation, do not plan your way back until you get a second passport. I can't tell you more than that. By any means necessary. There are many ways you can get a passport. Why not? I put it to the proverb I normally use. Christ said he's going to come like a thief. Then you go to the church and you do sign of the cross. You do at the back. You never know. He might come from the back. So if you do from the back, you're covered. So if you have more than one, why this is becoming, why, you look at it that even the British, you have a conversation, you mention the British, is because he has a dual citizenship. If he doesn't have a dual citizenship, it's going to be like the Nigerian government beating down its citizens and nothing happens and no one asks questions. Are you in doubt? Well, see those at the Lekki toll gate. See those at the Aba primary school. See those at the Kaduna Zaria road when soldiers opened fire, live ammunition on fellow citizens. Fellow citizens. Kaduna Zaria road opened fire. Overnight, killed over 300. That is the number 3. You add another 0. You add another 0. Human beings breathing, you shoot somebody, blood will come out. You kill 1, 2, 3. Just, I want to make it graphic so that maybe we don't see the graphic nature that it doesn't sink in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Killing, destroying houses, because your argument, not theirs, your argument. They insulted the chief of army staff and they blocked the road. And all you can come up with is just, they are troublemakers. You shoot them. Come on, just such. There are things that you hear. You keep asking yourself, where is our humanity? Where has our humanity gone to? Speak up for whoever that is being beaten down by the state. When the Shiites were, they can be irritated, there is no doubt. They can be irritated. I've watched a British police officer trying to arrest one boy, The amount of F word that boy was using, me watching it as a Nigerian, I was more angry than the white policeman. Wallahi, because the level of F that was coming out of every single sentence, he must put F and U. If my telephone, if I didn't buy it with my money, I would have probably smashed it on the floor the way I was angry. But in that anger, this police officer has been trained that even in this moment of anger, all you can do is record this, get this evidence, and use it to prosecute this individual as assaulting the police officer. Not more than that. You have no right to shoot. You do not have no right. And to even think that in 21st century, that military will leave barracks, come to civilian space, is an absurdity. And it's something that should not and must not continue to happen. It is an aberration.
Extraditing Kanu.
Okay, a number of points. 1,
we live in an international community. It's a global community. If anything happens anywhere in the world, you are likely to have parliaments all over the world and, interested persons making comments. This is what has happened in this particular instance. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow, Kanu's arrest, Igboho's, attack is discussed in the parliament in North Korea, if they have one, or is discussed in China, by the Communist Party. So that should be expected. The second thing is that, look, what has brought all this about is the lack of transparency on the part of the Nigerian government with regard to the circumstances of arrest, where he was extradited from, and, not coming out in the open will, of course, raise questions, not just internationally, but also locally, because you are dealing with not just public international law, but also fundamental human rights within the global, framework. The third point is that, yes, the House of Commons wants to debate Kanu's arrest. Yes, he has British citizenship. And approaches have been made to the House of Commons in England by Kanu supporters to say that the British government should wade into the matter. The British High Commission in Nigeria has also been queried as to how and why Kanu got access to his British passport by the by Nigerian authorities. And I said, well, he could get a travel certificate once he was able to leave Nigeria in September 2017. He could get a travel certificate maybe from Ghana, from Togo, from wherever. So the British, lawmakers, they are showing interest in something that involves a British citizen. But I've also made the point that the fact that you have dual nationality does not confer any kind of immunity. It does not say because you are a British citizen, you can overwhelm or undermine the sovereignty and integrity of another state that is a sovereign unto itself. So the debate in the House of Commons will merely serve the useful purpose of citizen diplomacy, showing interest in someone who has a British passport. But Britain or England or the United Kingdom is not in a position to dictate to Nigeria as to how Nigeria, goes about enforcing its own law. Questions can be raised, and the British House of Commons does not represent the British government. It's not the British government, it's not Britain or speaking as government. It is just Parliament having a debate. But that debate may well be useful, because one of the things they want to do is to query Kenya.
Yeah.
They can do that. This is a British citizen
but Kenya
on your
has
territory.
Denied.
Why did you hand him over to Nigeria? They can raise such questions. They want to find out whether Kanu was, rendered to Nigeria against his will. They also want to find out what support the British High Commission in Nigeria is offering. So they are likely to come up with some statements about rule of law, about Kanu's rights being respected. And I don't think that the Nigerian government will say that his rights can be disrespected. As for Kelechi Madu, the Attorney General and Solicitor General in Alberta, Canada, don't forget he's Nigerian, although he's also Canadian. He also has a dual nationality. And at the same time, he's also Igbo. His comments are more political than legal. He made a point about, violation of the rule of law, international law, and he reportedly abused Malami. Well, as Attorney General of Alberta, Canada, he's not in a position to dictate to the Attorney General of Nigeria. That's one point. The second point.
Maybe this will become clear when we go further. But I tell you, this is Attorney General speaking to Attorney General. So I call it the war of the Attorney Generals, because it will get interesting. When Malami replies, it get interesting. And when you hear my man, Rufai, when you hear Rufai's views, you see that we still have hope. Actually,
is that he made more of political points. The points that have been made by many Nigerians that, look, when you have injustice, when you have inequity, when you suppress people, when you do not allow an open society, you are likely to have people turning against the state and protesting. And that as far as he is concerned, he doesn't think that Nnamdi Kanu is, has committed any offense. that what he has done is to raise certain issues and that the protest by IPOP has been peaceful, where he is far away in Alberta, Canada. He's not in Southeast Nigeria. Finally, I think that what the Nigerian government needs to do is, rather than to characteristically say, oh, they don't know what they are talking about, this is our own issue, they also need to engage the international community, provide evidence, provide explanation, and not play the ostrich. Because oftentimes that's where we drop the ball in Nigeria. We say, oh, it's our country, don't dictate to us. No, that kind of arrogance is no longer accepted under the international order that we, have. So whatever comes out of the House of Commons, we expect the Office of the Attorney General to be more transparent. Since this is not just a matter of local concern, it's a matter of global concern.
We need transparency.
The people we call found.
Sorry.
Your analysis.
Okay.
Two things I'll say. Number one.
I don't know. I'm pardon me if I'm biased, but Rufai is always my man. He's top notch. I like him. I mean, we think alike, so that's why, my bias, sorry, but I can't help.
The government owes the people a duty to be truthful to the people. And you see, when we keep going the route of national security, I always ask the question, is it the security of the states or the security of a particular regime we're talking about here? So if we go one step further to say, yes, the state has the autonomy, it can do everything, it's a sovereign. But the question is, so that means if somebody has a right of protest and it goes a little bit against, or it goes against the state in some aspects, then the rights of the person does not hold sway because of the states and because of the particular regime. And I'll go back historically. At a point too, the people we call founding fathers today were what's called rabble-rousers by the British when they were asking for independence. The likes of Awolowo, Nnamdi, Azikiwe and co. But it goes back to the conversation on listening to them, and that's why we had the Lancaster House talks. All I'm just calling for in all of this is, let's listen to one another. Let us listen to one another. Let us not just stifle voices. You see, this council culture and the conversation is what matters a great deal. It's so easy to say, yes, we're a sovereign nation. We are so sovereign when we want to buy arms and weapons. We depend on other foreign countries. And they slam us embargoes because of things that are political in our own country. So like Dr. Abatia said, we should have a conversation too with these Western nations if they are raising this concern. But truthfully, in all of this, let's never forget that power is transient. And the fact that somebody cannot be in power forever.
Exactly. You can't.
Let's not forget that the incumbent president who at some point was protesting, he was tear-gassed, he was maltreated, he went to court and he got that famous injunction that you don't even need the police permit to protest. So in balancing this out, let's be truthful to ourselves. And when people have discordant tunes, I don't support the way of violence, but also we should call ourselves to order and talk to ourselves. No.
Rufai, I wish I can give you a super chat. I would have given you a super chat, but if anybody here gives a super chat on your behalf, I would willingly accept that. Listen, you basically said it, you basically nailed it. Why? Just like 2 days ago, just like Sheikh Husani said, the nation must begin to look into why those who were once nationalists are beginning to sing from a different hymn book. That is something that must preoccupy our mind.
Nobody supports. I condemn violence in its entirety, and I condemn bloodshed. But can we talk? Can we have these conversations about the furtherance of our nations, of our nation? Because these are the conversations we've always had since 1960. Since Nigeria was formed, we kept on having conversations. And a lot of people, every group in this country has said they want to leave at some point. We forget it was the North that first said Araba.
See, I like the fact that he also went back to history to actually, because many of you, I don't blame you if you don't know this, because for some reason history was deleted from our curriculum. So maybe if you're not interested in government and history, you will not obviously know some of these things. That when the coup happened, out of anger, the North that time was actually the first to say, we are going to leave. And they were serious. It was only the British that talked them out of. When they looked at the whole plan, they said, no. If you do that, you're not going to survive. If you do this, you're not going to survive. So, and as of that point, no one killed anyone. That's the thing. Listen, people calling for separation from Nigeria, majority of them are, none of them is born a separatist. But when someone is asking you, just like in marriage, every time you come back home, your wife says, honey, welcome back. Your wife puts food for you. You touch them. Oga, bring money, make they cook better soup. Money no there. But when you go out, you be the drinking one from here, stout, from here, good. You come home, you pretend. There is limits that people can take certain things. There is limit to it. Like I keep saying, even in my conference yesterday, when I had Boala and Professor Olufemilade there, I keep saying the same thing. There wouldn't have been an Igboho if the state that has the coercive power, that controls the police, the military, did not fail in their primary duties to protect lives and properties. If, when the invasion of the Southwest started, by men whom, some may argue they are not Nigerians, but who cares? You see, the thing, why ethnicity comes into crime is when it's not handled. If somebody comes in, I don't bloody care if you're coming from Mauritania, you're coming from Gambia, or you're coming from, I don't bloody care. Is it Sokoto or is it Akwa Ibom? Is it Europe? I don't bloody care where you come from. You get into somebody's farm, you destroy the farmland, and there was nothing done. It happens again, the same pattern, and individuals or people are killed. It happens again, some people are arrested, and it appears, quote now, parenthesis mine, it appears that some of the security agents will now say, okay, release this person. When it gets to that point, that, at some point, people have to make up their mind. People will start thinking whatever, and at that point, they start thinking whatever they are thinking. Whether right or wrong, your inability to arrest crime and deal with it openly, transparently, and in a timely manner would make others to begin to think that there are some conspiracies behind it. And sadly, with this government, with the current government, in the last couple of years, it appears all the conspiracies that started in the realm of conspiracies are now beginning to sound as something in the realm of reality. Then how do you deal with that? Your inability to deal with people equally. If you have to deal with someone who in the South says, I want a nation of my own and I'm coordinating people, again, this, how nature works. The same person who is now the president was the same person who went to court when he was tear gassed under Obasanjo with Oyi of Oyi, Chubo Kadibo. Many people say that Chubo Kadibo died as a result of that gas afterwards, but again, it remains to be seen. There is no proof, but it could be. I don't know. But the point is, you done all these things, then somebody does it now, and there is a bill to National Assembly now to ban, if you I think it's a protest bill or whatever, 5 years ago. And I'm like, I mean, these things does it make sense? I don't know. I mean, maybe sometimes, maybe I've gone gaga, honestly, but you know, these things doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Well, before I continue, thank you very much for super chat. Laura Queen, thank you very much for the super chat. Emma Chris, thank you for the super chat. Wow, you guys are on fire. Hi Barry, thank you for the super chat. I beg, help me dash Ma05. Okay, Ma05 go here. Ma05 go here. Thank you very much. I think one person more. Rose and Charles, thank you. This money belongs to Rufai. Okay, your own is coming again. Thank you very much. So Rufai, and I can see many of you are saying, Mazi, invite Rufai here. Honestly, while the video was playing, I wasn't following him before on Twitter. I've just started following Rufai on Twitter, and I would make efforts too. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. We are free to debate, to have conversations, and to deepen conversation. Not only just having conversation for having conversation's sake, but in having these conversations, we must begin to deepen our understanding and our knowledge of issues. Again, Rufai, you nailed it. They called first, but let me just quickly go a little bit back so that we can go back and come back to context.
Violence in its entirety, and I condemn bloodshed. But can we talk? Can we have these conversations about the furtherance of our nation? Because these are the conversations we've always had since 1960. Since Nigeria was formed, we kept on having conversations. And a lot of people, every group in this country has said they want to leave at some point. We forget it was the North that first said, Araba, we want to leave. In the 60s. When there was an interregnum between the 29th of July to the 1st of August, before we had a leader, it was said that the likes of Murtala Muhammad were quick to say, let them not leave this union. Can we talk?
All right, Rufai.
I feel we can salvage Nigeria, but it starts by talking.
Rufai, in fact, I dash you, wait now for dash you now. I dash you my earpod. Oga Rufai, take you too much. You killed it. Can we start talking? Why are we not talking? That's the thing. It is an act of conversation. Somebody is saying, I want this. There must be a reason. I can sit down to you and look at you I can sit down with you, look at you in the face and say, no, I'm not going to give you this. There must be a reason. Let's argument. Let's strive in argument, not just
all right.
Everything.
We'll take another story. Federal lawmakers on Tuesday engaged in a heated argument on the floor of the Senate over the legality of the Senate to legislate on animals, animal husbandry, and livestock.
Please, I don't want to reduce this conversation to animal talk now, because that's what fella will say, is animal talk. But let me now go back to the response of Malami. That's where some of you will get really angry. But please, in your moment of anger, I'm warning you. Somebody said the video I played the other day, I didn't warn them. So in your moment of anger, just know, thank you, Michael Odenibo. And Vin C as a thank you for the super chat. But mind you, in your moment of anger, do not throw away your telephone, because you will need it watching me and making calls. But bear in mind that in your moment of anger, there is always a time to laugh, because at the end of the day, when the video comes to end, towards the end, you will be happiness more, and I assure you that. Definitely you'll be happy.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay,
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
Tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we'll happiness more.
So I promise you, you're going to be happiness more when we come ide come to the end of the program. Kwari, I promise you, I will happiness more. I will happiness more. So, Madala, let's make it a go bring that Nyamirini. They call me Kelechi. They for Canada, and they talk me nonsense every time. They call me for Biafran boy. They call me for that in the circle. You don't call me for pass dealer. Me, Alaji Danladini. Now so they tell me Alaji Mazi. They go for Amwaha. They go for Akigwe, Anisha, Lagos, Ayo. They go for Aqua Ibo. They go for Ribasket. They go for Takat. Everywhere they go sell me, son. You never make me for trouble. Why somebody they come here
and bring up?
So, make it go bring me for Kelechi. That small boy, they sell me pass for Canada. Look, this is small boy. He don't go Canada. He go fight me for Malami. Never know Malami na Alazine. Kai Nyamiri. Make it respect. Respect me. They respect Malami and they tell me. Make it they respect Malami. It's not everybody. Everybody they go. Because you small boy, they come from Amwaha. That's why they make it trouble me. Okay. So now he's here. Let's listen to this conversation.
Canada as an empty vessel for criticizing.
No. Sorry.
Congratulations and bring us more awards. All right, then. We'll begin what's trending in Nigeria. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has described Kelechi Madu, the Minister of Justice and Solicitor General of Alberta in Canada, as an empty vessel for criticizing the repatriation of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. This was in response to Kelechi Madu's LinkedIn post, where he had described the AGF as a disgrace to the rule of law and not worthy to be an officer of the court if the reports that Nnamdi Kanu was adopted were true. The AGF, through his spokesperson, Umar Gwandu, went further to describe the ideas attributed to Madu as outrageously ignoramus opinions that are eccentric and weird to the legal profession, adding that it was unfortunate for someone who claims to be a lawyer to fault the internationally recognized manner through which Nnamdi Kanu, who jumped bail, was rearrested and brought back to face trial. Tundu appears to be the war of the attorney generals at this point.
Yes, it does. That was quite a vicious clapback from Attorney General Malami. But to be honest with you, I was expecting it. Because Mr. Madu's post on LinkedIn was most provocative, or would be if you were, Malami, you would have to respond to that. And I just feel that the points made by the Attorney General about the internationally recognized process cannot be assumed. They must be proved, because there's still a lot of questions around exactly how Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria. We all know the government went to court, took him to court. A bench warrant was issued when he did not show up for his trial. But there are rules and processes, there are laws, and we must obey the rule of law. As for Mr. Madu's little outburst on LinkedIn, he was talking about how, sort of showing a lot of sympathy towards Nnamdi Kanu, forgetting the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is leading an organization that the Nigerian government has proscribed. Right or wrong, that is just the fact of the matter. Whatever your opinion may be, opinions differ from fact. So Nigerian government has proscribed this organization, same as the Canadian government, where he lives, once proscribed the Liberation Front for Quebec and accused them of terrorist activity. So he should be aware that every country will do what it can to protect its unity. That's just the fact of the matter. But I do have to say that I have some sympathy to those who are calling for secession. While I don't agree at all on any level with that idea, the fact of the matter is that we cannot continue like this. Recent, in the last 2-3 weeks, Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister of England, called on Boris Johnson not to assume that the union of England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland will just stay together. He said that Boris Johnson should sit down with these different factions and...
Hold on now. Listen to this and understand it. British, or rather the United Kingdom, that is over 200 years. The person speaking is a former prime minister. So he's telling a current prime minister, do not take it for granted that this union, when they talk about union, it's not like our own unitary system. It is where you have quasi-independent nations, where they are playing, what's it called, the Europe League or whatever they call them. You will see Welsh, you will see Scotland, you will see England, you will see Northern Ireland playing against each other. Look, for many of us who do not understand what this means, it is as they say in Nigeria now, as the Nigeria is now. Yes, they will say federal. Okay, let's use this. United States of Nigeria. Just for, I know many of you would kick me, but let's, for argument's sake, United States of Nigeria, USN. Now, you have the Igbo Nation FC, right? You have the Odua Nation, whatever. You have the Igala Nation, or you have Ijo football, whatever. You have the BBO. So that's the way it is. It is still one country, right? But you can now decide on your own. If Wales is able to do, they want to do a new airport at the Cardiff, and they can afford it, they can build it without stressing Whitehall, or without, going piggyback to Whitehall. It is their deal. Let them deal with it. Even in all this decentralization that has already happened, and a former PM, Prime Minister, is still saying this to this current serving Prime Minister in the person of Boris Johnson. Still said.
Recent, in the last 2-3 weeks, Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister of England, called on Boris Johnson not to assume that the union of England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland will just stay together. He said that Boris Johnson should sit down with these different factions and listen to each person's sensitivities, their hopes, their aspirations. And this is a union that has been in existence since 1801, much less Nigeria, where a lot newer, a lot more fragile. So assumptions cannot be made. It cannot be by coercion. It must be by respect. And it must be by equity, quite frankly.
Well said, Tundu. Dr. Patti, your analysis.
Well, yesterday I made the point when you brought the same subject that Kelechi Madu, Attorney General and Solicitor General of Alberta in Canada, was shot on points of law, although he made a tangential reference to international law and how, in his consideration, the Attorney General of Nigeria did not follow the rule of law. And I said it was very long on the politics of the matter. And I made the point that that is perhaps understandable. Like Nnamdi Kanu, he has a dual nationality. Like Nnamdi Kanu is also Igbo. And that his submission was more emotional rather than legalistic. Now, he got his own comeuppance with the response from the Attorney General of the Federation of Nigeria. And reading the response, by the Attorney General of Nigeria, I had great fun reading through the statement because it was a tit for tat. It was a case of two fighting. And whoever drafted that response for Abubakar Malami did a very good job. Abubakar Malami should buy him a bottle of champagne because he did everything possible in that response to discredit and ridicule Kelechi Madu, including referring to him as arrogant.
You see, Ruben is saying that whoever drafted this should be bought champagne. Now, tell me, is there any reason why we should not buy a bottle of champagne for Rufai, for the way he would eventually respond. And again, for many of you who have super chatted this evening, you are being unfair to me. Everyone says this goes to Rufai, this goes to Rufai. Where is Mazi okay now? Eh? See this wala, it be like Oshomole Kakio, you know, the quick tear. So we go hear the thing.
And as the Attorney General of a provincial place called Alberta in Canada, you know, trying to put down
Now, this is one place I need to divert a little bit. In the response, Malami said something that this guy is an attorney general of a provincial place, provincial. You know, he put it in a condescending way that this guy is a failure in Nigeria and he moved to Canada because he failed in Nigeria. But I'm going to show something, because when people, which I don't think Attorney General has this information. Alberta, about 4-point-something million. Is it up to 4-point-something million, or how many people could myself? Yeah, about up to 4.4 million Alberta, right? Now that's percentage wise. That's like, I mean, you actually, I don't know, honestly, just like 8% of Nigeria, but yet almost the same GDP of Nigeria. Google it. I will share with us. But let's continue.
The Attorney General of a whole country. I thought that was very clever. And as the Attorney General of a provincial place called Alberta in Canada, you know, trying to put down the Attorney General of a whole country. I thought that was a very clever riposte. He also...
Now, before you go to the next accusation, let us finish with one of these accusations. Because we say in our place, what I will do, I will quickly show us Nigerian GDP, please, so that we will see. Then we'll go back and compare Nigerian GDP to Alberta, not Canada, because if you look at Canada, the GDP, you want to dagger and massacre Nigeria. But this is not because of the comparison. That's the reason why I want to do this. Now, this is Nigerian GDP. $448.1 billion, right? That's Nigerian GDP. Now, bear in mind, 2029 came. Nigerian GDP. No, that's projected, right? So now 2020, right? 429. Pay attention to this. This is dollars. 429. Now, what is the GDP of Alberta? GDP of Alberta, I don't want to say it. I want you to look at it. So you make up your mind, because almost when all these people residing here in Nigeria, when they want to insult and take and talk to those in the diaspora, as if they amount to nothing, so that we see what is Alberta GDP. Again, I ask, Alberta GDP here, Alberta GDP in 2018 is 338. 2018. Now, can we go back? What is Alberta GDP in 2020? At least let's compare like for like, right? Alberta GDP because the one we looked at in Nigeria is 2020, right? Now we're looking at 2020, 301 compared to 429. How much? You see, 307.1 billion. Compare it to the one of 400 and 421. Sorry, 429. If we take it away, you would basically have about 128. So it's basically nearly 70% of this is just a province, or a province that is how many? What's the population? 4 point something million. 4 point something million. And this is the same province that these people are just, the Attorney General is just saying, yeah, you're talking to an Attorney General of a whole nation, and you are an Attorney General of a provincial nation. That's why I said this is the war of the Attorney Generals, because they are giving themselves. But in this rougher fight, at least those who are, those who know what they are basically looking for, we are watching, we are learning, and we are
accused
analyzing.
him of all kinds of things, so-called lawyer and all of that, questioning the credibility and even the knowledge of Kelechi Madu. In fact, Kelechi Madu was accused of going to Canada because he could not make it in Nigeria as a lawyer. So it was very entertaining. But I think that, okay, this comes with the territory. Yeah. But the more serious point made by the Attorney General of the Federation of Nigeria is that, one, due process was followed. And he also went ahead in that statement to provide provisions in Canadian law that shows that when a person is a fugitive from the law, even Canada frowns at that. Or if a bench warrant has been issued, how even in Canada, Canada will not respect that. I think yesterday Tundu referred to the present Prime Minister's father and how he handled a similar situation. I don't know whether the Office of the Attorney General of Nigeria listened to Tundu yesterday, but they took it from there and provided concrete, legal evidence from Canada to show that Kelechi Madu was perhaps talking emotionally, not as a lawyer. But all the innuendos and the, personal attacks, the argumentum ad hominem, I think was balanced on both sides. But I would advise Kelechi Madu not to get involved in any altercation. He has made his point. Abubakar Malami has made his point. But what is important is, ensuring that Nnamdi Kanu has his day in court, and that it goes through due process, and that due process is fair within the province, the ambit of the rule of law, and that justice will be done, and it will not only be seen to be done, it will be seen to have been done. No. I think that is where all of us should stay within the ambit of the law. Lawyers, of course, we always fight. If you put 3 lawyers in a room, you will have 5 opinions. That's where we are.
Right. Rufai, what do you make of this
Okay. So if you need to get your water now, because it's about to go down. I know many of you are angry watching, but again, you see, the good thing is that Abati has he has this right to his opinion. You and I may not we may not agree with his opinion, but yet his opinion is still his opinion. Again, we might agree with someone else's opinion, and that's the beauty of conversation and debate. So, sorry, I made a mistake before. I talked about Alberta. I don't know what happened to my head. Alberta, with a population of slightly over 4 million, if you just oppose it to Nigeria, it means just slightly above 2%. Two, as in number 1, 2. The number of scores you need from Yobe to get into unitary school, just number 2. 1, often 2, above, just 2. Slightly above 2%. Slightly above 2% is what the population of Alberta is, and yet the GDP is close to a whole nation of 200 million people, 200 million. And everybody is boasting, we are rich, we are rich. Nigeria is a freaking poor nation. I don't know where we get these that we are rich. Rich in what? Maybe rich in corruption, rich in nepotism, and rich in whatever ism. Whatever ism that you can be, you can also. But again, let's get some. It's Thursday, but you're free to have one glass of beer. Let's enjoy the response from Rufai as usual. Now, Rufai Club. I think we're going to form a Rufai Club. Yeah, those who agree, let's form a Rufai fan club. If we for Rufai Club, and just keep your super chat ready because it's going to make you hit that super chat button now. Rufai, okay, come on, tell us something.
Fighting, as Dr. Abati has described it.
When I saw the message, I was appalled by the Attorney General.
You see, the first statement is already, he has fired the first shot, giving you an idea the direction is going to take it now.
This is the same man that the Nigerian presidency wrote a letter to congratulate on the 27th of August when he was made the Minister of the Province, Minister of Justice of the Province of Alberta.
Point one.
The Attorney General went further to say a provincial minister. For the records, Alberta is 680,000 square kilometers of land, and it has $387 billion in Canadian GDP. That's the GDP of Alberta. So it's not just a pushover. And for the fact that a Nigerian is there, is doing well, is challenging things that are back in the country, limited to law. And I heard he went further to say that it was because he couldn't make it in Nigeria, that's why he went to Canada. Wow. So we're establishing the fact that people can't make it in Nigeria. So is this something we should be proud about, that people can't make it in the country of their birth and they go to Canada and they blossom? That Canada is giving people better opportunities to be able to make it? You see, in making this country work, let's not inflame tensions. Let us all be statesmen. It was still in the same country that the Code of Conduct Bureau chief called a security man Biafran boys in the spirit of fighting, two fighting, and nothing has been done. We all want peace in Nigeria. Nobody wants this country to break apart. I feel we can salvage this country, but when we talk, let us talk to ourselves with a lot of love and respect. This same man you've abused from the diaspora community are bringing in 20 billion into this country.
Now, everyone in the diaspora, I remove my cap for you. You know, the other day, I didn't remove my cap. Some of you started rioting that it appears I have a bad head. That's why. No, I have Kurimakba. You can see I don't have hair. So, but I don't have bad. So I'm properly removing my cap, and I bow for you for doing us proud. For many of you living in the diaspora, that the nation is not crushed is because when, like Abacha, whenever a dry reach, at least we will have a lot. You know, Abacha used to send us credit a lot from the land of the ancestors. Whenever Nigeria broke, you hear like Britain. How many million will be repatriated, and you hear government magic like we will use the money for Lagos but the expressway. I say only God knows. How can, if Abacha was able to steal that much when he was about between $11 and $18, only God knows what will be happening now. And all this money that our ancestor is sending us from the spirit world. So for many of you in the diaspora, I doff my heart for you, for your tenacity, for the things you do, that even when it is almost impossible, many of you who have not lived in the diaspora will not understand this, that you come somewhere in a hostile environment, that your color is giving you out. Even many of you, even still in African nations, yes, your color you might blend, but many of us don't know that when you see somebody walking from the back, you know that this is a Nigerian. I don't know if you noticed that. If I see a Nigerian without turning face, I know Africans. But a Nigerian is walking, a Kenyan is walking, you can know from. Let me tell you, if I see a Ghanaian now, and this is the one I know at least 90% he works for me. If I see a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, From the back, I can tell you this is a Ghanaian by the way they work. So all these things are things that give us out. And people go to the most coldest place. I mean, what is it they live in Canada? Do you know how cold it can get? Where you wear singlet, you wear shirt, you wear cardigan, top it up. Before you come, you're as if you just come out of gym, your shoulders will be like this because you just padded yourself. And against all odds, people survive. People survive. I tell people, studying abroad, do you know what it means? And there was a time I used to pray for snow to fall. Snow, if it was the way they make rain, if it was possible for somebody to make snow, I will be paying the person to make snow. Because when snow falls, I know say quick money don't come. That's how hard it is. I dove my heart for you people because against all odds, you contribute your quota. Yet the nation that you send this money back home, no one appreciates it. Everybody back home thinks you pluck money from the tree. Everybody here thinks, oh, make I get abroad, I go blow it in unless you get into crime. Oh, see this guy, don't go 6 months ago, but he's sending this thing alive, forget nothing. In all these things, your government, you want to apply for visa, they cannot, a passport, they can't even give it to you timely. You go there, they want to frustrate your life. So many things go wrong. At the end of the day, you ask yourself why. But against all odds, you're surviving. Yet, common to even decide we want to vote. Oh, every government that comes in will give you electronic voting. Electronic voting. In 2015, they promise you, inshallah, if we win, we are going to, every diaspora is going to be in a position to vote from the comfort of your home. Gaskiani, this is 2021, 6 years later. We are still talking. Oh, it's not possible. If it's not in the Constitution. If it's not in the Constitution, we have to send it to the National Assembly and it will become an act of law. We consider. Yet, you are making an electoral amendment to put common electronic transfer, not voting, don't mistake the two. So that when I go, when the returning officers imputing the result, because especially what happened in Imo State, what the governor is accused of, that after election, what's it called, the ballot boxes and every other thing was taken to a hotel where that was counted. That's why INEC, the returning officer said no and threw away all his results. Now, that will be avoided when, after you vote there, it's in the presence of all party members, it is transmitted electronically, just as it was done, test run in Edo. All you now need to do is to have a legal law, back it up so that it becomes legal binding, that by 2023, if election will hold, if a very big if, massive one, if election will hold, that it will be transmitted electronically. But rather than do that, the same people we promise will not do that. They now want to do of what use are you changing the electoral system if you cannot effect any tangible change, for Christ's sake? Somebody gave you card reader. Somebody made your card reader this make a permanent voter's card. Somebody did that to ensure that you make incremental progress. But rather, we come in, you want to sit on progress. No progress want to be. Come on now. Huh? My heart, it hurts so much to know that the diaspora are there to send money home to support their home countries, but give them any sense of belonging by speedy attending to their queries if they want to buy, if they want to get their international passport. But you hear it, a nation that will tell Alberta, we are so, a small provincial, yet the whole nation of over 60-something years old Shouldn't you be close to pension now, or if not in pension already, that over 60-something years, you still fail in very basic duty of printing your own passport? Printing. Oh, the reason why we cannot, at this moment in material point in time, issue passports is because there are no booklets and we are working hard. We are now when Bana say working hard to go there. Wallahi. You know, sometimes these things can really get you worked up. Anyway, refine, because at the end of the day, we must everything has been working fine until you start hitting where it's supposed to go. Maybe someone is upset and you want to pull the plug. I tell you free of charge you can't, because people, we got to continue. Not be like this. Not be like this. Sorry, not be like this. We go there. Not be like this. So sorry again. I think for some reason I was booted out, but I think I need to bring Rufai back again so that he can conclude what he was saying. I only send money for them. Please listen. The dead can always bury themselves. Rather than send money for burial, please send money to save the living. That's my philosophy. I prefer sending money. You know, I prefer spending money to save the living as opposed to, because this nonsense. Sorry, I call it nonsense. Befitting burial. You see someone, he hasn't seen red meat, proper red meat, not Poma and Shaki. He hasn't seen proper red meat in 10, 15, 20 years. He dies. Then he say he want to kill 50 chickens and 200 fowls and 2-3 goats and 5 cows. Come on. You must stop that rubbish. It's not to come and feed your enemies. But, well, that's beside the point I'm just responding to. But again, let's bring Rufai, because Rufai is the only one that's going to make this fatty.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we'll happiness more.
So, inshallah, after watching Rufai, you will be happiness more. Okay? Rufai, okay, come back.
That Canada is giving people better opportunities to be able to make it. You see, in making this country work, let's not inflame tensions. Let us all be statesmen. It was still in the same country that the Code of Conduct Bureau chief called a security man Biafran boys in the spirit of fighting, two fighting, and nothing has been done. We all want peace in Nigeria. Nobody wants this country to break apart. I feel we can salvage this country, but when we talk, let us talk to ourselves with a lot of love and respect. This same man you've abused from the diaspora community are bringing in 20 billion into this country, but yet you can't give them right to vote. Then you say it's just a common provincial person. But we are so quick to celebrate him. The presidency wrote a letter to celebrate him on the 27th of August when he emerged. I mean, how many black people are provincial heads in Alberta? Let's be realistic with ourselves. All right? I'm not saying justice and rule of law shouldn't take its course. But in all of this conversation too, there's also something called the sentiment of nation building, the romance of nation building. That's why Mario Cuomo was the one that says, you know, we campaign in poetry, but we govern in prose. And this prose of governance has to be told in the dipstick of unity. We need to always call for unity. We need to always, at every point in time, make ourselves feel that we're part of this union. And if somebody has a disagreement with us or discordant tunes, You can say, okay, this is this about it, but I can explain it to you this way. Not going all personal. I was disappointed that an attorney general, still the same attorney general, that compared, what is it called, nomadic farmers to spare part dealers.
You see, so many of you, if you I'll bring him back. But if you're wondering why I have here only spare parts, if you've been wondering why you see this, and my T-shirt will be here next week. Why you see this only spare parts is because of Malami. Because when he called the Igbos, he called them. He alluded that if, when they were making these comparison, and he made this comparison, as, oh, hold on. Did I see Toju? Toju, is that you? Okay. Okay. Is it Toju from Bremen, right? So when he was making this comparison, he compared herdsmen to spare parts dealers, because the Southern governor said, we want to stop herdsmen moving by foot. And the Attorney General, in his response, said, if you're saying herdsmen should not, if you're banning herdsmen moving on foot, it's as good as banning spare parts in the north. I'm like, how can you compare apple with okwa? Because one is tiny, one is, you can't even lift it up. It doesn't make sense. So that's why I said I'm proudly on your dot here. The top one you see is for president. He calls us dot in the circle. We say fine. And the bottom one is Malami. So for many of you who've been asking what does that mean, that's what it means. And I'm proudly, I can wear it anywhere. I'm proudly on your dot. Because the comparison does not make sense, not one bit. How can you compare cows moving on the street, causing traffic, destroying farmlands, in that process, sorrow, tears everywhere? How can you compare that to a people that if you leave now, you come back 8 p.m. tomorrow, 6 a.m. tomorrow, 8 a.m. tomorrow. This is their shop. Shop number 1AB, Musa Avenue, Guarimpa or whatever. I don't bloody care. Or, what's it called? The place that foreigners live. It's escaped me. But that's the number shop. Abiodun and Sons, Motor Spare Parts. This shop does not move away, right? It doesn't go away. But how can you compare that to a right-thinking person? How can you compare that with someone comes with a cow into your farm, destroys something before law enforcement officers will come? Either the person has subdued you or is left. But here is a man who owns a shop, deals with his goods, pays his tax, and you're making this comparison. Come on now. Come on. Anyway, so I'll allow Rufai to. After that, I think even Abati would actually now respond to some of these things. Abati would disagree though. But again, like I said before, it's an open world. Everyone have their own opinion.
That compared nomadic farmers to spare part dealers in this country can say such a thing. Please, let's all douse this tension down.
No, Rufai, with due respect, Kelechi Madu referred to Abubakar Salami.
You see the thing about civility and argument. Ruben says, Rufai, with due respect. You see, I don't know. That's what I want us to keep. As they say in the Bible, iron sharpeneth iron, that civility becomes eventually part of us. Of course, he disagrees, but at least in a civil way.
As a disgrace to the rule of law. Yes. Abubakar Malami has the right to defend his reputation, and he fought back. And that was why I said this is a case of two fighting, a case of tit for tat. The fact that Kelechi Madu is Attorney General in Alberta, Canada, does not give him the right to impugn the integrity of another person. If my integrity is impugned and I feel like responding, I think I'm perfectly under the ambit of the law to fight back. And that's why I described it as two fighting. The fact that somebody is in Canada or whatever does not give that person the right to put down either his own country or persons in that country, with due respect. Kelechi Madu has overstepped his own bounds.
We'll take another story. Reactions are trailing former Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun after a federal high court in Abuja cleared the controversy surrounding her participation in the National Youth Service Corps scheme. On Wednesday, Justice Taiwo ruled that Adeosun was not qualified to participate in the NYSC scheme when she graduated because she was.
So, I mean, I'm gonna be leaving Adeosun's stories. You know, that's for me. It's been Nigerians called for her to go, but I think in hindsight, people would have probably realized that somewhat a mistake. You know, that she left because the person that took over, we have seen how fantastic. The person is done, and fantastically where we are. If one would wish, you can say, well, she's not Okonjo-Iweala, but at least much better than the one we have now. If one could call her back, it's one of those things. I mean, I wouldn't mind. At least, if not for anything, she gave us fun, and we can hear her at that time. She always says stuff like, I can't even mimic her with her London accent. Yeah, let me not even try, because I think something is now on my head because I can't try that because of this.
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?"
So, but I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. If I tell you that I can't count ABCD, will you also believe me?
Awesome. You decide ABCD to say? Yeah. Huh? No. Where are you? Yeah. Read ABCD, Maya.
So ABC, the IJ. Anyway, so the final story here, people, is that the Northern Elders Forum rejects Southern Governors' move. What does that mean? So quickly, I will take this story before we conclude the broadcast this evening. So what it means is the following, that, if you recall that on Monday, the Southern Governors met, and they said that they were going to implement ban on open grazing by September 2021. Now, the Northern Elders Forum met, and they basically said, you guys are just talking absolute rubbish. Now, the forum took a position. Let me quickly, I think many of you probably must have read it. Their publicity secretary, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, observed that as far as the North was concerned, the idea that it would be threatened, intimidated, or blackmailed into yielding an office that ought to be settled democratically is not possible. The Northern Elders Forum sees the decision of Southern governors as an expression of sentiment that will be best that could be best described within a political process. We are running a democratic government, and decision over where the next president comes from is basically a decision that will be made by vote exercising their rights to choose their candidate that best serve their interests. So when you review this, when you listen to this, you begin to ask yourself, in as much as I do agree with him, because one has to be objective. I do agree with him objectively that electing people should be entirely the business of political, it's a political process. However, there was this sentiment when Goodluck, or rather people would actually say part of the reason Goodluck lost the election of 2015 was because there was this argument that no, power has to return to the North. Power has to return to the North. If you remember the demands of the NPDP, it appears many of us 6 years down the line no longer here. The NPDP, the new PDP that had Saraki, Amechi, where are they? Is it Kwankwaso? No. No, Kwankwaso. Where is this guy again? A couple of them. No. What's it called? The name escaped me though. But when you look at that, the way they moved because they believed that was an injustice to them. Yes, Yar'Adua died after 3 years, or rather close to 3 years. And they felt, okay, since 1999, you've had power for 8 years. We had for 3. And 3 years, Goodluck completed the 1 year of Yar'Adua. But again, one thing that we haven't learned in all this is, if there are a people that take things serious, the 2014 Confab report makes provision that, perchance, in order for such abnormality that happened when we had doctrine of necessity not to happen again, is when a president dies in office, the person that should take over from him will not be his vice, but someone else from the same region. For instance, if someone from the Southeast is the president, which is within the geopolitical zone known as the Southeast, if he dies, irrespective of the fact he's from Abia, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, anywhere, that someone from that zone should replace him and become the president. I think, thinking in line of, the death of Goodluck Jonathan, bearing in mind, and the reality is that Nigeria as a nation isn't that matured to the point where sentiment and ethnic leanings would not take precedence in some of these things happening. If you bear that in mind, it will make sense that that argument from that Confab report would have made sense. But hey, the government says they don't want to look at it. Yet the same government is not given any tangible solution. Yeah, thank you. Tambowal and Co. Yeah, who is now a governor in Sokoto. Exactly. Thank you for reminding me that. That's Tambowa that was and Tambowa Dogara. No, Dogara is come back. You see them. When they leave, they go from party A to party B. It's just like people changing boxes. It means nothing. They go from, sometimes I wonder how they will even remember. Maybe they want to go and carry broom and they carry umbrella because they move. Hence, personally, for me, there is no difference between APC and PDP. It's just 6.5 dozen. So when one says just like, funny enough, I was listening to Chibika Amechi. He says 16 years of PDP was a failure, and I'm like, where did this man come from? Did he just fall from Nigeria? A man who was speaker for 8 years, was governor for 8 years. That's 16 years. Now saying the 16 years of PDP was a failure. The same your own PDP, Abi. So PDP equals APC. APC equals, you can do mathematical equations and call it APC-DPD, whatever that means. So at the end of the day, the only thing there is that in principle, I kind of want to agree with them that, it should be a political process. But again, they must also understand that there is limit to, sometimes, to be honest with you, do you know what? Sometimes the way my mind works, sometimes he asks me, what do I really genuinely want them to do? Sometimes I just wish that a northerner, again from Northwest, will become president in 2023. So that those still thinking that everybody will now know, you don't do us. Because for now, with the promise of 2023, a lot of people are still, okay, yeah, it's going to be our turn. It's something that we shouldn't actually be talking about. We shouldn't be discussing this. Because there are nations that don't even have 10% of our diversity. Look at Switzerland, for instance. Switzerland, a nation that has only, you can basically say, 4 diverse entities or language. That is German, you have English, you have Italian, and you have French. Just 4. And 4 appears almost an impossibility for them to manage. And what do? They have to, devise a means where you have a president, you have multiple vice presidents, in order to assuage the fears of everyone that, no, we are not doing this against you. But not when somebody says you have the president, you have the Senate president, you have the Speaker of the House, you have this, you have the other one. Someone says, what is it? Say, well, you are not, when we were forming the party, where were you? We're on this, yati. As if there are no other people, other people within that place in your... It's when a system or a people do not believe in equity. I keep saying it here. Why would you take your own, where we have 100 naira, why would you take your share and you're interested in taking mine? Whereas I'm not interested in yours. Just keep yours. Don't give me yours, keep yours. Just take your share. But we operate a nation where it appears these things are almost impossible for us to reach. But be that as it may, I like the words and the stance of the Southern Governors Forum for the first time to say that you are proud of them because they have hit the chord. And you see, listen, it's about to go down. We will know who is going to blink first because it is the month of September is the test month. The month of barbecue. I said it the day before, people think it's a joke. It's not a joke. The month of barbecue. The month where after the date, any cow seen on the road, get your sauce, get your ketchup, your salt, your whatever, and start doing barbecue. That's what it is. After this social date, you begin to have barbecue. And that barbecue, inshallah, we're happiness more. After the barbecue, inshallah, we will be happiness more. So, people, thank you very much for joining me this evening once more. My name is Mazi, okay? And this is in the Media TV. If you don't mind, please subscribe to this platform. Remember to click on the bell icon in order to make it much easier for alerts to come to your phone whenever I'm online. But tomorrow is going to be Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. It's going to be tomorrow is a Friday hangout with Mazi, okay? The only day we have our conversation in a very relaxed manner, and we have them with our palm wine, vice beer, red wine, white wine, whatever wineable, even zobo. Fermented kunu is allowed. Even the one you put in your praying kettle, if you want to put it whiskey there, it is allowed. Here we allow everything. as long as it's something drinkable. Water is also allowed. If you want to recreate Jesus' miracle here, we do everything that is happening here. We can do that as well. We can recreate that. We can turn water into wine. You know that. Here we can turn water into wine. Now, again, someone says, Mazi is okay, but you buried your brother. I didn't advocate that you shouldn't bury the dead. What I mean is, you reach out to people when they are alive. That's what I mean. When my brother died, I didn't borrow to bury him. I buried him, the normal way you should. Obviously, when you want to bury, people will have to come, but not to spend resources that is meant for the living just to bury the dead. Nah. Is I think it's something we must walk away from, because it helps no one. Again, if you have money to throw away, which I don't have, then it's your it's your prerogative. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Let me take some of your comments, then we will call it a day. May God Almighty, that's Francis Tutu. Thank you very much, Francis. Please always remember our barbecue party. Oh, this party is going to be an extraordinary party. The party, I like it.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on with the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we're happiness more.
So, inshallah, after the barbecues, we are going to be happiness more. But I know that during the barbecue, some of us will do willy-willy. Some of us, when they see iron pole and the cutlass, they will do like this.
On the hour from Niger Delta Broadcasting Service. My name is Andrew Uweri Okere Ajapasa. Yesterday, some angry Warri Jaguda boys carried dangerous weapons like a cutlass, iron pole. I went down to the Uborikoko oil facility. When they reached there, the security people vanished into the bush like willy-willy.
So, on that note, Mazi is okay would also... Oh, dear. Okay, I take that again. On that note, Mazi is okay will be vanishing like a willy-willy, because I can see iron pole everywhere. I'll say, John, see you guys tomorrow, and I'm now vanishing like a willy-willy. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye and good night.